How's it going, guys? I'm going off to Costco. Do you guys need anything? Because Costco is one of my very first trades I've ever done, all the way back in Robinhood. That was my very first trade, and now it has served me pretty darn well. My very first few years, Costco was one of my best performing assets, and now apparently it needs a place in Wall Street bets as well. We have this brand new article called Costco. No, really, when you need a profitable place to land after jumping from the tech train. As we see, there is a massive haircut on the entire market. A lot of stocks are down, and Costco could be your saving grace. Now, before you click away, this channel does a variety of stock investment analyses. That's why I want you to note that this is just one out of many. Go ahead and click through this channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave your meatball sub at the door. That's Professor Meatball. My name is Andrew, and we're gonna away we go onto Costco, the stonk train. So all right, so let me start off by mentioning that I'm a long-time lurker, first-time poster in Wall Street Bets, and thought it was time to make my first contribution. I know. I didn't think my contribution would be about Jim Cramer boomer stock, but yeah, it really is. But just follow along with me here. I first began the day planning out my next moves for when I start jumping off the tech train, like right about now, and began embracing the market for post-pandemic retail life. And once I see CPI begins to bump, the moves for making money in the market during inflation. This led me to look at commodities and companies which deal with commodities. Enter Costco. A new Costco has entered the ring. Then I pull up cost and wonder, what the heck am I looking at? Why is there such a dip? And we are looking at a significant dip on the 5-minute chart, and let's look at the hourly chart as well. And that is a pretty sizable dip on since the beginning of, what date is this? It's been a couple of days running. This is the day. You see that there are banded charts here. That's because I've turned on after hours and pre-market as well, so you guys can see a holistic picture of Costco's dip in the last few days. And as everything must dip, strong companies that have solid value will rise again. So there must be some terrible news, right? Being an avid Costco shopper to feed a family of 5, I began researching what terrible thing happened to Costco to cause such rapid sell-off. And the more I looked, the more I realized that the sell-off is really just weird. It could be an opportunity to get some tendies or rotisserie chickens. See what I did there? You see chickens at Costco have cost $5 for a long time, including and hot dogs with a soda have cost $1.50. You guys know I love a good deal. Researching possible causes. Could it be massive shorting like we see with all the other stocks? No, it's only running about 1% of shares shorted. Was there any news of accidents or management issues? None that they could find in Google. So when they come off an article about Warren Buffett, which may explain a couple of things. Warren Buffett sells his shares of Costco. Oh, Warren Buffett. Well, considering that he sold it prior to November 16th, 2020, could it have been him doing that huge red candle on November 9th and 10th? Shouldn't the stock have begun to drop from there? It should have, but it didn't. So they looked a little more and found that Costco announced a special $10 dividend, which is pretty high. I mean, RKT announced a $1 dividend, and that was just amazing. My first thought was that, dang, Costco made a lot of money to do a $10 dividend, and second, that this drop isn't justified if Costco is making a ton of money. Here's a chart for that dividend marked. As you see, right after the dividend had passed, the stock begins a slow bleed until you see a final crazy sell-off at the end. With that $10 dividend in the back of my mind, I'm already thinking that this sell-off is all sentiment without any real reason. So I do some due diligence, look at the financials, earnings calls, etc. Then I mark them on the chart to see what kind of effect those things had on the price. It seemed to help or negate the stock even during this time of speculative hype. Each blue horizontal line marks an earnings call. When you zoom in close enough, you see that the market responds negatively or positively to the results in a pretty normal fashion within a week or so afterward. Each call is followed by a swing of around 10 points up or 10 points down. Typical moves for a stock trading in the hundreds. This confirms that without a trigger to drop the price of Costco, there really isn't a reason the stock is dropping, or the positive earnings could push it back up and any negative earnings should drop it further or remain the same. As you can see, the stock is just completely oversold, trading outside the Bollinger Bands, which tells me that it might be a good time to catch a falling knife. You know, buying the dip. But what can slow the downfall or even reverse it? Enter the earnings call March 4th and why I am bullish. Looking at the financials, Costco has continuously beat its earnings. The average surprise for the last 2 quarters was 11 0.04%. For the recent quarter, Costco is expected to do a post earnings of $2 a share, but it posted $2.29 per share instead, representing a surprise of 12%, and then produced $3 per share for the previous quarter, which is a surprise of 9%, almost double digits twice in a row. So looking at its previous 2 years of March earnings, it has always beat its December earnings. For all of you call options people, they didn't do a screen capture because of that, but just look at the data in the link below. So fundamentals, if they matter anymore, have not changed, and why they like the stock. They make a ton of money selling literally tendies. Costco posted year-over-year gains in revenue, net income, and other metrics. Total revenue increased by 9% year-over-year, while net income attributable to Costco climbed 9% year-over-year. Costco posted revenue of $43 billion and net income attributable to Costco of $1.2 billion in Q1 FY 2021. They are continuing to grow their online business, growing and selling rotisserie chickens. They are international, also making tendies. Costco post-pandemic will retain its customers. If you guys have been to a Costco during the pandemic, it is crazy packed still. Costco is a solid business with much upside despite Buffett selling. He also dumped Apple. The fundamentals of the business have not changed, seeing as the majority of its profits come from the membership itself and that most people do not cancel their memberships. I don't see why Costco would suffer post-COVID. At the same recent price it is currently at, it signals an overly sold stock, which will likely bump up the next earnings call to stabilize the price and bring it back into traction. The plan is, I like the stock for both a long hold and will supplement with a $340 March 19th call. I'll have 60 shares come market open tomorrow. Now that said, I do have a stake in Costco, but I haven't touched it for so long. It's probably been like a couple of years of an investment. So I have to say that I don't remember my entry point, but Costco seems like it has tendies in the weight. None of this is financial advice. Hope you guys knew that. Hope you guys also take a chance to invest in yourself by hitting that subscribe button, smashing that bell button so you don't miss a single live stream, and catching us next time. And I appreciate you guys making it all the way to the end. Here's a meatball boop, a nose boop to reward you. Boop. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.